Alexa, stop please. You know, I bet I'm wrong about something today. I wonder what it is. Oh boy, I can't wait to find out.
I have been wrong about a great many things in my life. So much so that when I think back to how I viewed the world back in my early 20s, I see that my entire perspective on the world has changed. Politically, religiously, ideologically, even scientifically, I hardly recognize the young man that I was a couple decades ago. I believe that the transformation of my worldviews have proved to be a net good, and I consider myself much better informed on controversial topics now than I was then. But more importantly, over the years I've also realized my own capacity for fallibility. So much so that I've adopted a bit of a personal motto. To recognize you are wrong is to have learned something. Now perhaps, like me, you've noticed that in our modern day culture, we are becoming increasingly divided along political and ideological lines. Several recent studies confirm this suspicion. An unexpected outgrowth of our on-demand digital culture is that we can be much more selective in filtering the opinions and information that we allow into our lives. Even though we live in an age of ready access to information, we have also developed the technology that allows us to perfect our ideological echo chambers. If we so choose, we can filter our news, our entertainment, our politics, and even our friends to the point that almost nothing can penetrate to challenge our desired beliefs and notions. We can create for ourselves shiny spheres of nearly impenetrable confirmation bias. This is troubling. If we have no way of discovering our errors, what hope do we have of correcting them? How can we grow our perspectives if we don't challenge them? How can we learn anything new or important if we don't open ourselves up to the possibility that we might not already have all the pertinent facts? In short, how can anyone be confident that they are right in their beliefs if they aren't also keenly aware of how they could be wrong? The philosopher John Stuart Mill recognized this problem back in 1859 in his book On Liberty, when he said, "Those who know only their own side of the case know little of that. The reasons may be good, and no one may have been able to refute them, but if they are equally unable to refute the reasons on the opposite side, if they do not so much as know what they are, they have no ground for preferring either opinion." This is powerful stuff, and it points to a way to identify the nefarious and dulling presence of an echo chamber sealing us up from discovering error in others, or more importantly, in ourselves. Here's how it works. Think of any belief that you might hold about the world. It could be political, social, scientific, or even religious. Say it's something controversial, such as your personal views on abortion, immigration, feminism, or whether or not we're all being mind-controlled via chemtrails from airplanes. It really doesn't matter what the belief is. Now, clearly you have a pretty good idea of your opinion on the subject, but how well do you know the opposing viewpoint? A little? A lot? Well enough that you could persuasively argue for it even though you don't believe in it yourself? Or, as Aristotle put it, the mark of an educated mind is to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Even though he wrote it over a century and a half ago, what Mill so astutely pointed out is that our knowledge of a given argument is inversely proportional to our understanding of the opposing side. If you can't explicate the counter-arguments to your position, or worse, if you don't even know what they are, then you have no reasonable assurance that your own beliefs are valid. Again, if you don't know how you might be wrong, you have no reason to presuppose that you are right. And the key to knowing how solid your own beliefs are is, can you describe the opposing view in such a way that someone who holds it would find your description of their position fair and accurate? If you cannot do that, or if you can only describe the opposing viewpoint in a way that mischaracterizes it, then you, my good soul, are the one in an echo chamber, and not necessarily them. Ultimately, what we should all be striving for is not ever-increasing confirmation bias, but rather something I like to call contrarian bias. When exposed to ideas, perspectives, or opinions, our first inclination should be to consider what the contrary position to that position might be. This is why free speech and the interchange of opposing viewpoints is so crucial to our society. And it is also why it is not only okay to discover that you are in error about something, but that correcting and learning from those errors in your thinking can be a source of wisdom. Hence, why I say there is joy in the motto, "To recognize you are wrong is to have learned something."